We're standing on Chepstow Street in the heart of Manchester city centre, and what I'm trying to explain about today is a tree planting scheme which on the surface doesn't appear to be that interesting, but there's a very complicated story behind it. So if you look behind you, you can see 3 trees that are planted along a stretch measuring 16 metres long. I'll explain what's happened beforehand. You'll see there's a very interesting story here. Prior to the planting project, this was all paved over. So we came along and we dug it out to a depth of nearly 1 metre, and we removed all of the broken rubble, all of the old rubbish that was dumped there probably about 70 or 80 years ago. And we removed that and we installed a good subsoil, and then we overlaid the subsoil with what looks like a milk crate system. Now that seems to be rather an odd thing to do, but actually what that is there for is to support the weight of these block pavers on top. Now in the milk crate system we've actually installed a very nutrient-rich soil which has been pushed into the voids inside the milk crate system. So what then happens, as a combination with these permeable block pavers, which I'll explain more about in a bit, the water drains through, and it drains through into the milk crate, and it washes out the soil and the nutrients, the very rich soil, into the ground below. So there's a constant drip feeding of food to the tree roots, which means in effect they're going to have a long-term feeding plan of about 5 to 10 years. So that means in 5–10 years time they should really start to be noticed as being a much bigger street tree. So it's a very good sustainable feeding system. So just remember that, the milk crate, on top of the milk crate we have a permeable membrane, so the water can get through but other things can't get washed through into the soil below, like stones and so on. And then on top of the membrane we've got a sand wearing course, and on top of that we have these permeable block pavers. Now, what is that? Well, it might seem to be like a normal block paver, but if you look closely you can see there are these little tabs and these little gaps in between, and we fill these up with crushed stone, which means that water can drain through. So this means that as the water runs off the pavement behind, it drains through into the ground below, and it is able to provide the tree roots with a very regular source of water, which combined with the soil nutrients that is washing through creates the perfect growing conditions for the trees. Now that's of course very good for the trees, but the other thing to remember as well, and certainly in this modern climate of extreme rainfall events that we're experiencing, we only have to look at what happened in Manchester on September the 24th and 25th to realise that there was a lot of flash flooding. This kind of system will actually enable the water as it runs off the pavement to drain into the ground below, and hopefully lead to less puddling effect that we can see there. So we hope that this will be the future of the way our city centres are treated in terms of the hard landscaping work. We'll see more and more permeable paving systems, and of course if we have that combined with trees, we'll have a much better environment for our city centre.